Hi guys, it's Melanie of Melanie's Bakeshop. Welcome to my first video tutorial. Today I'm going to start with the classic chocolate chip cookie. This is the only recipe you'll ever need for chocolate chip cookies. It's basic, it's simple, it's classic. It's going to be a little sweet, it's going to be a little salty. And I'm just going to kind of go through what I do and give you guys some little tips that I think will make you be able to create the perfect chocolate chip cookie to enjoy in your own home. All right, let's get to it. So first I start with 1 cup of salted butter. I like to make sure it's room temperature. Do that by just letting it sit out. I never like to put it in the microwave. I don't like to heat it up. It's just gonna make your cookies have a constant consistency that's just right for when they go in the oven. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of that, using my Aisha bakeware that I got from the show, which is very exciting. It's amazing. She has a full line of pots, pans, she has cookware and everything like that, but these little spatulas are amazing. I use them all the time. So we're gonna do 1 cup of the salted butter at room temperature, and then I'm gonna add my sugar. So I do a 1/2 cup basic sugar, and then I do 1 cup of dark brown sugar. I always like to use dark brown sugar. I just think it makes my cookies taste better. I haven't been professionally trained, but in my experience, the dark brown sugar always tastes better than the light brown sugar. And then I'm gonna add, I always go a little heavy-handed on vanilla. I always use pure vanilla. Get it at Costco. It's a great deal. Or if you ever go down to Mexico, you can get a good deal on some pure vanilla. I use 3 teaspoons. If you want to use a little less, you can, but I love the way vanilla makes my cookies taste. So we do 3 teaspoons of that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little mix. I start with a little pulse, just so the butter doesn't go everywhere on your countertop. So once it gets started, you can kind of speed up your mix.
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Okay, so now you can see it's just incorporated. It's nicely mixed in with the sugar. Next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add in 2 eggs. I like to crack my eggs and let them sit so they can also get a little bit more room temperature, which just helps in the final cookie. You know, baking is it's a science. So it's a lot of times like it really matters if something is a certain temperature. It's gonna help your final product, again, be consistent. So we're gonna put the eggs in, and I'm gonna give those a nice little whip. Now, some people prefer to mix all their dry ingredients together before they put them in the cookie. I don't have that kind of time. So what I like to do is, well, first I'll tell you, so I'm doing 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. I like to use fine ground sea salt. Again, I think you can use normal salt, but the sea salt I think gives it that extra just nice, sweet, salty flavor that I'm going for when I make my chocolate chip cookies. I also add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Now for me, I would always have a problem with the cookies not baking and getting fluffy enough. So I come out with flat cookies. I found when I add a teaspoon of cornstarch, it helps my cookies and they bake better. A firm spatula helps, I think, when you're baking, just because you're able to kind of scrape the bowl better, and flimsy just is never good in anything, right? Okay, so just a little stir to get those in there. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and add our flour. So I use all-purpose unbleached flour. So just the basic, I do 2.5 cups, and I go ahead and I put it all in at the same time. Just to about there, and then once it's at that point, I always find it helpful to scrape the bottom of the bowl. Okay, so we got that nicely scraped. Then I'm gonna give 1 more little mix just to get the rest of that flour that we got off the sides. A little speed. Now we're gonna add the best part, the chocolate chips. I use semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can change this up. You can use milk chocolate if you want something different. Dark chocolate, I know a lot of people love dark chocolate. It's healthier for you, right? You can add nuts. Walnuts taste good in these. Pecans taste good in these. And this is also actually the same batter that I use when I make my white chocolate macadamia nuts, which are a hit. People love them. And that you just instead you would add white chocolate chips and macadamia nuts. But anyhow, we're gonna do the classic chocolate chip like I promised. So we just add those in there. And then again, we're just gonna give this a little mix. And we're ready. We are ready for the oven. So first, obviously using Aisha's bakeware again. This non-stick pan is amazing. It has this, like, if you can see, like this diamond textured interior, which promotes even baking, and it also helps, like, when the cookies are done to, you know, take them off so they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. So highly recommend if you can get Aisha's or just non-stick. And if you don't have non-stick, you can just throw a piece of parchment paper down there, and that's also going to help. Baking time. So I always, you always want to preheat your oven. Make sure it's preheated. Again, with the baking process, it's going to help with your end result. So 350. And now time. I'd say somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes. Again, it's going to depend on the size of your cookie. I personally always set my timer, and I always set a timer because I'm so spacey. I will forget that I have cookies in the oven and burn them. But I always set a timer for 10 minutes, and then I check them, and then I give them another 2 minutes and check them. And you're just going to want them to be golden brown when they come out. I like them to be a little bit underbaked, and then I'm going to leave them on the pan to sit and finish baking so they become that nice, lovely, chewy consistency. Okay? In the oven. Cookies are ready! Thank you guys so much for watching my first video. This is my daughter Kennedy, and now it's time for the most important part, the taste test. Bubby, you want to try a cookie? You gotta taste it and see how they taste. Yummy! So good. Bye! Say bye-bye! Bye-bye, everybody!